Thank you for Patreon now for donating to the Patreon.
Hey guys, Vanity is back into the Card Fight Vanguard Ezel and the Vanity Weekly Reviews. If you enjoyed them, like, comment, subscribe, and let's start, shall we? This time we have a lot of reveals. We have a little bit more news from Chrono Trigger. We're gonna get some. I don't know all of it. I assume we're gonna get some Brand K reveals, but part of me thinks that's a lie. And we have technically 2 new ride lines in Lyrical already, possibly a 3rd one coming tomorrow. Or technically the day this goes up. So let's go and get this started, shall we? First up, we have Agogic Dragon, Grade 3 200 Persona Ride, 13k base, continues rear guard. If you have a Vanguard, Leonor's card name, all your other rear guards in the same column as it get boost. In my opinion, this is a worse version of that like one Rhino thing from Sylvanhorn Beast that gave all grade 2 or graders boost that didn't have to be in the same column. So, I don't know, I feel like this is a worse version of that. If that skill is wrong, someone please tell me, but yeah, I don't really like this dragon that much. I think it's kind of like, meh. If you want to run it, 1 over 2, but like, there are better options than it. Then we have Never Ending Summer Tatum, Grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. Active rear, once per turn if your damage zone is a face-up order, Soul Boss 1, put a hand card into your damage zone face-up. Choose a face-up order from your damage zone and put it to your hand. So, doesn't get you a counter charge, it just swaps out a hand card than order, which I guess is good for like the order-based decks, or like a deck that you have like an order in, whether it's important or not, and you just really want that order. It's fine. It's a good generic support card, but like, unless the order is like your deck's main purpose, it's not really that useful outside. Like, yeah, Sweet X Sweet is like the best, in my opinion, the best lyrical generic order ever, but like, I don't need it in my decks that run it, I just have it because I can. So Tatum is like, if she picked face down cards, then she'd be cool, but like, I don't know, 2 of maybe in the order based decks, otherwise not really needed. Then we have Pack Your Luck Lorena, Grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 7k base, continues rear guard circle. If you're dropped as a magazine, it gets plus 2k power and 5k shield. So 9k base and 10k shield. 50-50 on this one, you know, because the 9k base and all, and yeah, if it had 1k more, maybe I would run it in my magazine deck, but yeah, no, not really feeling it. If you want to run a 2 of maybe, but otherwise no. Then we have our new Rilfa ride line. So super large newcomer Rilfa, grade 0 boost, 5k shield, 6k base. You see, she looks like a pop idol. The whole point of Lyrical Montessera, that would just be knockoff Bermuda, or next generation Bermuda. This one looks like a next generation Bermuda. I was going to point with second draw card, stand start, and special about it, it just looks like the next stage of Bermuda, like actual idols. Then we have Oversized Room Rilfa, Grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. Auto, when she's rode upon by a Grade 2 unit with Rilfa in its card name, choose up to 1 Grade 2 or greater from your hand, call it to the center back row, and until end of turn it gets boost, and if you call a card, draw a card. Okay, wait, I just had like an epiphany. It's always except for the Acestus ride line except for the Acestus and the Celestial ride line to my memory, there might be another one there, but basically all of them kind of look like, more or less, the Grade 2s, the Grade 1s, and Grade 0s typically look like they were actually in a dance studio. Actually, the Acestus Grade 0 had it, but not the other ones. But like, they all look like they were practicing and getting ready, and not anymore. Like the Grade 3s just don't have that. But anyways, pretty cool skill. Getting a Grade 2 to the back row, and you get boost and draw cards. So that's all around pretty nice of a plus. Unfortunately, no rear guard skill, but it's fine. So one of them in the right deck. Then we have my favorite time, Rilfa, and there goes the Showtime aesthetic. Grade 275k shield, 10k base, auto when it's rode upon by a Grade 3 unit with Rilfa in its card name, shoot whenever your Grade 2 or greater rear guards, bounce it to hand. Okay, so that's good, because while this is a vanilla the turn you ride it, you ride this, you get a Grade 2, you have a 10k booster, now you get a draw, Vanguard swings, then when you ride next turn, again, they're giving us different Rilfa names, so I'm assuming, like with the other ride lines, we're going to get alternate versions of it next set. You can bounce the Grade 2 to your hand, so unless you have a way to give it, so if you don't have a way to give it boost for some reason, you kind of just move around its placing for free. So all around, I like this card. It's interesting. In my opinion, this skill feels a little lackluster. Does that mean it's bad? No, it just feels lackluster. So, you know, one of in the ride deck, but it's a free bounce, so why not? Because it can also proc off stuff. So, you know, all those Acestus cards that are like all those Kari support cards that we have that benefit from being bounced and unplaced again? Yeah, this deck is basically knockoff Kari. And then we have Expensive Dream Rilfa. Okay, interesting. Grade 3 200% right, 13k base, act van once per turn, soul boss 1 ton of turn, all your Grade 2 or greater rear guards get boost. I really wish her text said this unit gets the skill, all of your Grade 2 or greater rear guards get boost, because the difference here is anything that hits the board after you use the skill doesn't get boost. So that's kind of bad, especially when her second skill is meant to be knockoff Kari, because her second skill is auto van at the end of the battle. This unit attacked into anything. If you have 3 or more Grade 2 or greater rear guards in your back row, Okay, I'm sorry, what? Okay, they're definitely making a card that says, whether it's for Stoicheia or Lyrical, that like gives back row to the front row, because now that's 2 cards that imply that there are going to be more than just 3 back row circles. So someone's going to be considered a front row at some point, because there is this thing in Leonore, and then there's a thing here. So anyways, choose a card, counterblast 1, choose a card from your front row, bounce it, and from the back row, bounce them, return them to hand, and if you return 2 cards, choose up to 1 grade 3 card from your hand, call to an open graveyard circle. Okay, 1, why grade 3? Why specifically a grade 3? But 2, again I say, this thing has like one of the worst timings ever, because if she actually gave her this gained the skill everyone gets boost, she would be 10 times better, because then that means you can proc off more stuff with Kari cards. But I guess like that's why they said no, because a lot of good Kari support would like all the generic Kari support would kind of break it, because half the deck's build would already be done for, and all you have to do is just shove in the cards. So yeah, Rilfa is fine. My issue is she just feels like knockoff Kari, and in my opinion, set 1 Kari felt a little better than this. I don't know, maybe that's just my view of it, but yeah, set 1 Kari did feel better. Though again, set 1 Kari did have a trial deck going into it, so I don't know. 3 of Rilfa in the main deck, 1 in the right deck, I guess. Then we have a grade 2 favorite hat, Fluetta, grade 2 and 5 Kishio, 10k base. Auto rear, when your other rear guards are returned to your hand by your Vanguard's ability, that was grade 3 or greater. Counterblast 1, put this to soul, draw a card, choose up to 1 grade 3 from your hand, call to an open rear guard circle. And this is why I wish she gained boost, the ability to give everyone boost. Because then you can call 2 columns, get a soul to replace the said soul blast from earlier, and you get another column. Is it weird that the thing I'm pretty sure was supposed to be Rilfa support ended up being better Kari support? Because while you have to call grade 3, yes, it still gives you an attacker. And it can call her to the circle she was on. This thing seems like better Kari support than it was Rilfa support. Then we have Passionate Deportee, Pseudo Ready, grade 3 turn persona, 13k base, auto rear when you place from hand. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard Rilfa in its card name, until end of turn this unit gets +5, and if you place during your main phase, so best you draw a card. Okay. Why does this benefit more from being placed during the main phase when its whole skill in the first place is locked behind Rilfa? To do this, because of how it's worded, to my understanding, you have to have a Vanguard Rilfa to pull off any of this. So it's not like they were afraid of Kari shenanigans. So why, in God's good name, did they restrict the plus to the main phase? Why? Why? I don't get it. I could kind of see it, but like, no. Cost is fine. Restricting on main phase? No. No. If this is the grade 3, it's a triple rare. This is the grade 3 supposed to call Rilfa, isn't it? I don't want to run this. I honestly don't think it's worth running this, because it's only 5. It doesn't restand. We have literally better lyrical grade 3s. I honestly think this is not worth running in a Rilfa deck. This thing is made for Rilfa, and I personally do not think it deserves to be ran in it. Will I still run it in mine just to see? Yes. Do I think it's going to be good? No. Just take this as you will. Then we have our technical second ride line for Lyrica, which kind of came out of nowhere, but then again, it's a promo card. Relation Weaver Petralca. Of course, you know, this, of course, Lyrical just gets a grade 3 that makes its own, you know, ride line, technically speaking, but every other clan only gets grade 1s and 2s and supporting grade 3s. This makes its own fucking grade 3. So grade 3 turns up persona, 32k base, auto van. At the end of the battle, this unit attack the Vanguard, counterblast 1, reveal top 7. If all revealed cards are not named Revelation Reaver Petralca, have one of the different card and have different card names from each other. That again, not normal units. So basically, it's Highlander. Choose up to one of the revealed cards, call to rear, and it gets +10 for the turn. And if you chose a copy of this, write it as stand instead of calling it and lose a drive, but it gets the 10k still. I'm disappointed that we got Rilfa over this. because not only do I like her hair more, but based off the pattern, I think she was meant to be a tiger girl, and oh my god, if that's the specific type of tiger, Siberian white tigers, which I think that's what it looks like, I don't know why, but like when I think of Siberian white tiger fur, this is the color I get in my head. Oh my god, that looks so fucking beautiful. Why did we have to get fucking Rilfa over this? I don't like this. I wanted this as my grade 3. Well, you can bet now that I have incentive to do Lyrical. I was gonna do it anyways, because that's what I do with Vanguard, but like, yeah, now I have incentive to upload stuff for Lyrical, because, her. I'm not even joking with you, I wasn't planning on doing Lyrical for another week, but as I say this, I uploaded a video for Lyrica, and it's solely because this was here. So, yeah, Petralca is good, and I'm gonna build a whole deck around this. And because she's not restricted to ride lines, that means I get to be as free as a bird when I finally do this. So yay, finally, I get to go full tryhard with the build, so watch out for that one. Then we have Demonic Stone Dragon, Matelbara. Okay, I've heard some people complain about this. In my opinion, it's the fucking best grade 2 we've ever gotten out of Dragon. And it's a rare. Oh my god, that's amazing. So grade 2 is a 5k shield, 10k base. Auto is placed on rear card, plus 1, choose a card from your drop, put it to soul. If you have 4 more different grades, you get plus 10. Okay. This is ultrasound, but better. I heard some people say that this should have been ultrasound skill. I don't agree with you. I think this is better. Because ultrasound had its own skill with the draw, and that was pretty nice. But Matelbara, Matelbara is so good. Like, I put him in my deck for a match. It was so easy. So easy. Yes, my deck now has a counterblast problem. But now I'm consistently, because now I don't have to rely on other units to get the grade 3s in soul for me, because this can immediately put one in there, and typically I discard a grade 3 for ride deck. Literally, Matelbara fixed my only problem with this deck, where I won't get a grade 3 in soul outside of Dradrill's skill on first grade 3 turn. If I don't get it, I lose. Matelbara literally fixed that problem. He is the best grade 2 in this deck by far, in my opinion. Literally, it's perfect for amazing grade 2. Then we have Elegant Afternoon Lacrine, grade 3 turns right persona, 13k base, continues rear during your turn. She gets plus 10k power, but she can't attack the van. That is such a shitty skill. Well, no, it's just a shitty skill, because, like, yeah, and, like, when you're playing against a rearguard-centered deck, it's doing something, but, like, from my experience of rearguard-centered decks, they're going to protect the rearguards with your life, so unless you plan on, like, battering their vanguard with everything else you have, you're only wasting attacks, and typically rearguard-centric decks tend to, or at least the way I play them, tend to be a lot more fucking aggressive than Vanguard-centric decks. So if you're going to waste your time trying to kill them, make sure you're actually going to kill them instead of just wasting a swing on it. So Lacrine is, like, good as a quote-unquote rearguard-centric killer, but at this point we might as well have just gotten a card that said, at the end of the battle, your grade 3 Vanguard, hit your opponent's Vanguard, Soul Blast 2, nuke an opponent's rearguard. Because in my opinion, that's far more effective than this, because it adds on hit pressure, and it also makes it so you can kill something. So Lacrine, maybe a 2 of, who knows. Then we have I'm Almost Late Pufella. Of course, like, one of my favorite looking cards because of simply this. Like, this yellow jacket looks so cool to me, and I wish they gave it to more lyrical cards. Of course, the one that looks the coolest to me, in my opinion, is the one that belongs to what, in my opinion, was the shittiest ride line, because it's just B-Tech Kari. So grade 2 and 5k shield, 10k base, auto when it's placed on rear. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Rilfa in its card name, choose a grade 2 or grade 2 or lower normal unit with Rilfa in its card name from your drop zone, and you put it to soul. If a card was played, it gets plus 5. Okay, now I have a reason to call it B-Tech Kari, because there was a literally Kari support puts the Acestus ride line to soul from drop and then calls them from soul. Rilfa is literally B-Tech Kari. I'm not even joking. Like, that proves it, right? She has a worse skill in terms of, like, bouncing and boosting. I mean, okay, grade 3 versus grade 3, technically this is better, I'll give it that, but, like, support wise and how the skill actually works, no. This is better because it can pull it off on turn 3, but once you get past turn 4, Kari immediately becomes the better one, in my opinion. Just, like, even if we don't count the grade 4, I'm not even joking with you. So Rilfa feels like B-Tech Kari, I guess, so take that as you will. This is the only good card, in my opinion. Put it out of 4 of, because it just looks cool to me. Next up on the list, we have Knight of Grudges at 9, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. Do they normally release like other set cards while they're releasing the lyrical sets? Because I don't remember them releasing like set 3 cards or set 2 cards while lyrical is getting their support, because we're getting a lot of set 7 cards while lyrical is getting boosted. So I think Vanguard's about to go on a hiatus. Anyways, auto when is retired by any card player's card effect ability from your rear guard. If you have 3 for your hand cards when that happens, draw a card. Okay, it's good support for blasters, I guess. So you can like self-nuke this thing, get a plus if you're already losing, but like, I don't know, in my mind, having to commit a whole thing to just replace itself while you kill it, in my opinion, isn't worth it compared to like high power gainers. I don't know. When I play blasters, this is like the last thing I worry about with hand cards, but like, okay, sure, you know what, for you competitive blasters out there, this works for you, run it at like a 2 over 3 of, but for me, this thing is about as useless as running a critical trigger as a normal unit, showing up to a tournament and pretending that it's a normal unit, and then your judge just lets you do it for some reason. It's as impossible as that, basically. Then we have Knight of Gale, Kyneburga. She feels like an Aurora Battle Princess. This is an Aurora Battle Princess going through training. You see, that's where the Aurora Battle Princess come from. This is the true lore. Fuck whatever Bushy said in their lore section. What really happens is the Aurora Battle Princesses are like young girls that followed Hexorb, or like, we're going to use our seer power for justice, and instead of just copying their seer power, they just tackled people to the ground using giant-ass handcuffs, and went through the training of all Keter Knights, and then just moved on to Brantgate to fight the death out of Orphis, and then became these things. This is a Aurora Battle Princess. You know, this is going to be Aurora Battle Princess Burgundy. Bet right now. Anyways, continuous rear guard during your turn. If your opponent's vanguard's a grade 3 or greater, it gets plus 5k power. Cool. That is the most generic 5k boost I've ever seen. Do I think this is bad? No. In fact, I would have actually really wanted this when I was building my Youthberg deck and I was trying to find knights for Youthberg. Really wish Gale would have been there so I could have had a consistent knight theme, but nah, fuck that. But then again, I'm actually kind of happy that I didn't get her, because technically I did get a grade 1 knight, but like it was Reedy and she had a hammer, and I don't consider her a knight because the hammer, I don't know, when I think of knights I think of swords, spears, shields, etc., not hammers. But at the same time, I'm kind of grateful I was forced to use Reedy, because Reedy proved to be really fucking funny. So, you know, 3 of Kyneburga if you choose to run her. She's a generic plus 5, so why not?
Okay, now time to finish off the rest of our reveals. Hopefully the rain going outside doesn't shut out my voice. First we have Blitz Mechanic Schtart, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. Act rear if your opponent's vanguard's a grade 3 gator, counter plus 1. Put a heavy strike cannon fortress Fretch suit from your order zone to drop zone and retire this unit. Choose up to 1 mobile fortress of obliteration Fretch maximum from your hand, put it to order zone. Okay, all around pretty good support for Welstra, because the issue that I find with Welstra is the fact that you have to persona ride to get a fresh suits into your order zone, meaning you have to wait till turn 4 to play the deck. Now Schtart makes it so you can play it on turn 3 as long as you win second, so all around pretty good plus, and now you don't have to need a persona ride even if you don't go second, so pretty good card 4 of in a Welstra deck. Then we have Blitz Engineer Hoflio. So I was really wondering how they were going to do this with the double product activation, because there's a way they could have done this that would have broken, and there's a way they could have done this that made sense, and this is one of the ones that made sense. Grade 2 side 5k shield, 8k base, weirdly enough. Auto when it's placed on rear, if you did not operate a product this turn, Chiron plus 1, Soul plus 1, choose a product from your order zone and operate it. Basically what this means is, technically, if you have 2 copies of Fretch at maximum in your order zone, you could play 2 of them, once during the main phase from this thing skill, once during the battle phase. I don't like that it costs a Counterblast and Soul Blast. Soul Blast isn't an issue, just the fact that we're having a lot of Counterblasters, but then again, Welstra himself is free, but this and Fretch all cost a Counterblast, so 50-50, but I'm pretty good for a grade 2, because this also means you can do this during your grade 2 turn, because it doesn't involve you being on Welstra. And then continues grade guard during your turn. If you operate a product, it gets plus 5. Okay, cool. Nice card you can call in the early game. Still gets up 13k base while you're using your orders to minus power. Can activate an order twice per turn, once with Welstra and or Yuba combined with this thing. All around pretty good grade 2, and I like it. I think it's nice. Definitely a 4 of in a Welstra deck. We're just gonna have to watch that Counterblast. Then we have our new ride line for Lyrical, to work hard on Mediell. This is the third to last ride line. Grade 0 boost, 5k shield, 6k base. Auto when rode upon if you want second draw card, standard start, not just about it. It's just a free draw. The one thing I will say though, spoilers for the other cards, this panda is really cute. The reason I said that's because it's present in all their arts. So we have Sheltered Girl to the Pharmacy Mediell, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. No rearguard skills per usual. Auto when is rode upon by a grade 2 card of Mediell in its card name. Choose a 1 grade 2 or less card from your drop zone, call it to rearguard, and if you called a card, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a trigger, rest the called unit. Okay. So the issue with this is all of these, in my opinion, feel like knockoff Hexa. Do I feel like that's a bad thing? No, I love a lot of these new Mediell cards because I read all of them, but great god, this feels like knockoff Hexa. But, you know, getting to be able to call a rearguard from drop, basically your discard fodder turns into a free rearguard. The only downside is that if you see a trigger from the top card, it gets rested, but on the plus side, the trigger stays on top. So either you see a normal unit and the unit gets to stay there and you get a rear guard, or you see a trigger, the unit gets rested, but you're seeing a trigger this turn. So Mediell round's a pretty nice grade 1. Only downside is your opponent gets to see the trigger too, but one of in the ride deck, none in the main deck, obviously. Then we have Making Smiles Blue Mediell, my least favorite of the ride line in terms of looks. Grade 1 boost, grade 2 intercept, 5k shield, 10k base. Auto when she's rode upon by a grade 3 with Mediell in its card name, look at the top 3, choose up to 1 card from among them, put it to top and discard the rest. Okay, again I say, ride lines that don't specify names. We're getting alternate ride lines. I'm willing to bet right now because because they do it with every other ride line, so why are they now choosing to save space? It doesn't make sense to me. But anyways, getting the free top 3 and you get 1 card that you don't have to show your opponent. I mean, granted, you're going to end up showing them anyways, but, you know, cool, and then you just technically mill the rest. So Mediell is fine, and the best part is you could technically mill 3 if you wanted to. So all around good grade 2, really nice. One of in the ride deck, none in the main deck. Then we have our grade 3, 50-50 on herself, but I love the cute little panda. Fondant, Solace, Mediell, grade 3 200 persona, 13k base. Act Van once per turn, counterblast 2, reveal the top card, and perform one of the following based on what type it is. Normally, to put the reveal card to your hand, choose a card from your drop, call it to rear, and that card unit gets plus 1 crit for the turn. Trigger unit, soul, countercharge 1, and choose a card from your drop, call it to rear. Turn the reveal card to the top. So this is just knockoff Isabel. Knockoff Hexa, knockoff Hendrina from Zorga, knockoff Isabel. So very interesting because it's a high cost, but if it's a normal unit, not only do you get that normal unit to your hand, but you get a call to a rearguard and it gets a crit, and if we have a restander, which we do, deadliness. And then if you see a trigger unit, then your countercharger one, so the cost became free, you still get a rearguard, and now you get a trigger on the top. So me personally, unless that triggers a crit, well, yeah, no, me personally, especially if that triggers a crit, the top deck is better. The trigger unit's better to see, because while your opponent's seeing the fact you have a trigger, you're still getting a rearguard out of it anyways, and the cost is halved. Though in the situation where you need those defensive cards, the normal units are inherently better, so it's really nice that she kind of sets you up to be like ready for that moment. So Mediell runs pretty good, I think. My only issue is Counterblast, and here's the thing, it's not Counterblast that's the issue, it's Soul, and we'll figure that out in a second. So, 3 in the main deck, 1 in the right deck. Then we have Meddlesome Committee Phyllis. This seems like it's from a movie, to be honest with you. So grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. Act rear once per turn by soul blasting 2. Choose one of your grade 3 or greater vanguards with Mediell on its card name. To end of turn, it gets plus 5, and the cost of this unit's original act ability becomes counterblast 1. Okay. So unless you Persona Ride, you can only use this once. And if you do Persona Ride, presumably you're only using this twice. The Vanguard's an 18, and now it's a counterblast 1. It's not bad, but that's such a hefty cost to fix a skill. And then auto rear, when your other unit's placed from drop, she gets plus 5. Okay, that doesn't matter because only one unit in this deck places from drop. This is one of the cards where it needs other support to be good, because that is such a hefty cost in my opinion, and it's just way too much. And the other rearguard being placed from drop, cool, that's fine and all, but it's only going to plus off once for Mediell, so I don't know. It's a 4 of inherently because the counterboss 1 fixing, but it's not really that good. Then we have Dearly Flowers Alice. So grade 2 intercept, 5k shield, 10k base. Continues rearguard during the battle. If she attacked a grade 3 or greater unit, she gets plus 5. Okay, cool, we have a 10k swinger, but unfortunately she only gets it for the battle. And then auto when she's placed on a rear from your drop zone, by the ability of a grade 3 or greater Vanguard of Meddlesome's card name, auto rear at the end of battle she attacks, so must 1 stand her turn of turn. Okay, clearly this is the unit you're supposed to call for Mediell skill to get the crit. Here's the issue though. You're spending all your soul on Phyllis. Now you can do one of two things. You could either use your skill of Phyllis one time, so on your first grade 3 turn, so she is effectively free if you see a trigger, and then you know you called this, and now you're out of soul, you persona ride, now you have 1 soul, and you use it on the restander again. But honestly, that does not sound consistent. I don't know. This deck feels like you need to run the Realista ride line. I think that's like the best thing. I'm not going to run it because there's a whole Mediell ride line, and we all know how I am with the different ride line type of things. If I were to build a try-hard deck, I would just build it with Realista ride line because it needs the soul, and for some reason the ride line doesn't give us this. I wish this thing said instead of milling them, you send them to soul. Because yeah, it kind of goes against the mill thing, but you already have fucking discard from your ride deck. So, I don't know. Alice is okay. These two just have such a high cost between them. They're both good, but them together make it feel really heavy on soul. So, you know, take that as you will. 4 if you choose to run it. I would love to see how this goes without needing to run cards from a lista, including the orders. But that's pretty much it for the reveals. Now you may be wondering, where's next stage that we were promised? Apparently we didn't get a next stage. I'm 95% sure they said we were going to get next stage, but they didn't give us next stage. Point is, they did tell us that Striding basically works the exact same way as before. The heart deck is still the same, and we have finally list on the what's in the deck. We have 4 Chrono Jets, the new one. All these are new, by the way. They're not old. So 4 Chrono Jets, 4 Start, 3 copies of Steam Fighter Ballyhoo, 1 Smoke Gear, presumably for the ride deck, 4 Upstream, 4 Steam Fighter Argandia, Grade 1, those are all Grade 2s by the way, except for Bali. Then Grade 1s, 1 Mazer Gear Dragon, 4 copies of Steam Maiden Arlim, RPG, which looks fucking boss, and I'll show an art in a second. 4 copies of Steam Breath Dragon, 4 Magnet Resounding Gear Creo, 4 Steam Scar GG, so GG's back. Our starter is Chronodran, and the triggers are all reprints from DBT06 that are vanillas, except they have the Dark States over trigger, Gale Mage Held, so that's pretty cool. And our G deck will be 4 copies of Next Stage, 4 copies of Fate Rider, and 1 unknown card will be revealed on the 30th. And by the way, this is what Arlim looks like. Give me 1 second. Arlim, my girl. Yep, that's what Arlim looks like, so Arlim pretty interesting, and she is the standard effect PG, so, you know, the 2 more cards in hand, discard 1. All around, I'm kind of looking forward to this, but at the same time, I'm kind of not, because I'm curious if they're actually going to give Mazer Gear and Smoke Gear skills. They better give them skills. As for the G-Zone, I'm kind of disappointed we didn't get Chrono Jet, especially because I'm pretty sure it did say it was revealing on the 23rd, so yeah. I mean, all around, they might reveal it later today, though, so all around, I don't know, pretty cool. I'm Mendy here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me all your thoughts. We're going to get the next 2 lyrical ride lines within the next week. So I'm Mendy here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord, follow Twitch, and I'll see you once one. Don't forget to stand up your vanguards.